people that live here year round know we've had the gate broke down at least twice, but I think more than that this past year. One time it was out for quite a long time. I was informed by the manufacturer of when I say gate, I'm talking about the electronics. The mechanical apparatus for the gate is fine, but the electronic apparatus is now 10 years old, and I was informed that the manufacturer is no longer, what do you call it, when they don't back up their product? Supporting it. Yeah. They no longer support the system, so it got real hard to get parts last time. You had to wait forever to get the parts. We managed to get them, it's working fine, everything's been checked out. We put a new battery in the battery backup because the battery went dead and wouldn't take a charge. So now when the power goes out, it should open itself like it was doing before. If there's an issue, I guess I don't have a bunny tree, but if there's an issue, you have to open the gate physically or manually open it for any reason. Please be sure to shut it and set the screws again. What happened earlier in the year, I just got the gate fixed, and it broke. I didn't know it was broke. Somebody opened it.
The power went out.
Yeah, somebody opened it to get out when the power was up, because the battery wasn't working at that time. We didn't know that either. And I came out, saw the power was out, saw the gate was open, everything's working fine to me. I drove out of town. I called the next day, the gate's not working. So I didn't know what was going on. So just, if you open it, and I'll show you how to do it if you need to know.
And then it took us time to figure out that they just didn't know.
It's a hydraulics. You release the pressure.
Yeah, I want to know how to open it.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it
me
took like
too.
a week or 10 days to figure out that it was just somebody hadn't tightened the screws again.
Oh.
So everything was working. I could hear it buzz and make all the noise, but the gate wouldn't do anything because the hydraulics had air.
Weren't locked down. Yeah.
So if you could just kind of keep that in mind. Again, I think at some point we're going to have to replace the gate operating system. I was able to get one bid, and I called umpteen people. I got one bid, and it's let's see, for the gate operating system we have now, it's $14,655.14. He also gave me an additional bid for a camera system for it. The camera system is $9,965.67, which, quite frankly, the gate we're going to have to do something about eventually. But $10,000 for a camera is just beyond the payout to me.
There are a whole lot less expensive.
Well,
Well,
we
we-
think we
we-
may have very good, inexpensive solutions. Matter of fact.
Here's what happened. We're lucky enough to have not one, but two homicide detectives out of the state of Florida that own multiple lots here. Eileen Simpson on the nominating committee is one. She's investigated over 300 murders. Robert Johns is a good friend of hers. He's investigated on 2 murders. Eileen, that's one of her lots right there. She wrote a nice letter. She called me. I asked her to put it in letter form so I could read it or have people read it at the meeting. And I'll pass it around for you guys to look at. The gist of it is, she's saying in all her experience investigating criminals and whatnot, the gate camera, yes, it's a deterrent, but it ain't that big a deal. Because all it does, legally speaking, is put the person, if you get a good enough picture of them, put the person in the development. And they can simply say, I'm looking for real estate. What you need to do is put the person in your home. So she recommends that everybody consider buying an in-home camera system for their home. Jim has one he found on an ad for $300, was it?
It's a low-end system, Bunker Hill with Harbor Freight, and you can catch it on sale for like $259. You can get a coupon to that. It's 4 cameras. It's 8 channels, so you can put up to 8 cameras on it. It's night vision, so you get a black and white picture at night. So it and you can hook it up to your. It can call you. It can let you know when it's activated on an iPhone. You know,
Say again the name.
Bunker Hill. It's Harbor Freight. If you look at Harbor Freight and look at security cameras, I think I've got a flyer in the truck. I've got a Harbor Freight.
Anyway, that's her advice is for real security and to prosecute people, you need to put them in your home. But the gate camera is still a good idea, and Robert Johns suggested a hunting camera. Let's call that thing a hunting camera.
Trail cam.
Yeah, I brought
Trail
mine.
camera.
Oh yeah.
You've got some too.
Yeah.
These take fantastic pictures. It's a 10 megapixel camera. It's virtual IR, so it shoots the pictures in the dark. I've got great pictures of Dr. Fisher driving through on his cart. I got bear pictures. I've got wolf pictures.
Wow.
I mean, it takes wonderful pictures.
I've got a dozen.
And
Really
these
nice
are,
picture.
$130. And
Yeah, we
it'll-
have wolves, by the way. Did you know that?
the red wolves. There are red wolves.
I'd like to see that picture. Wow.
I've got it.
It's funny because the trail you can't see or hear the trail cam operate, and theoretically they can't either. But there must be something that they detect because this thing's set to take 3 pictures at a time, and invariably it's like picture, animal, animal, and then animal looking directly into the camera. Actually, with the bear, it was bear, and then the third one was just bear fur. His bear just glommed onto the camera. After that, all the other shots were a little bit skewed.
But this will do about 10,000 pictures, and you can set your resolution as to how high or how low. It'll do up to 10,000 on a set of batteries, and you can get a big card that will hold a lot of pictures. So basically, if you had 2 cards, mount a couple of these down here, one coming and one going, so that you can shoot what's coming in, and ideally maybe get plates.
Yeah, so you shoot the front of the card coming in, and then the back.
This one came from DHS Supply to Browning.
Make sure I have it right.
And so you get 2 cards for each camera, and that way.
Hang on, let me make sure everybody's here.
I don't know. Just wanna know.
Folks, we have an idea that we're coming up with. It'd be good if everybody knew what she's. Say that again.
If you had 2 of these cameras, and you wanted one focused to take a picture if something came in the gate, and you had one mounted that you could get a good view of going out the gate, these cameras are about $130, $140 each. And then you get 2 cards for each one, and the cards for these are just the same kind of cards you use in your camera. They're just a little SD card. And so you get 2 of these, and then so once a month you have somebody pull it, Dustin, or somebody pull the card, put the other card in. You hold that card for a month, and then you basically rotate them out. And that way you've got a running history, but you've got at least a couple of months. And we may be able to go even 2-3 months. We have to see how long, based on the amount of traffic, But that way you've always got that history for a couple of months, and then you destroy it, so that you don't need to have we're not trying to track people's comings and goings. We just want it if we needed it.
It doesn't intrude on people's privacy. It creates a record, exactly the record you're looking for, and that way. And what's more, if you're not home, that record will be on file for up to 2 months. So you can, if you come in 2 weeks after a home was broken into, you can say, "Pull the card for me, please."
Yeah, it's good to. Can I speak for a minute on this subject?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, as y'all know, I was the one broken into. I could almost pay for that camera system, by the way, from what I lost, close to it. So, although I don't think they're 9,000, I think you get them for a lot less. But so when the gate was in op for however long, I think it was an opportunistic break-in. People saw the gate was just open and finally said, "Let's drive up and check it out." And probably saw my house further up in there. They broke in and took their time and destroyed ransacked the house and stole some valuable objects. And anyway, so I was talking to the detective, and he said that the criminals will always come in the gate. The gate certainly is an issue of having it shut all the time. He said, but sometimes it's contractors that have gate code access. He said, don't be fooled to think that everybody in this valley doesn't know our gate, at least one gate access code. I know Larker Highlands, and me too. So the issues to having the gate, like having a lock, keeping honest people out, but people will get in. Someone told me they saw a contractor walk around with a rake and run it across the thing and open it up. But what Charlie,
nowhere to shake that.
Yeah, but what the inspector detective said to me, he goes, "It's not the gate. Yes, the gate needs to be fixed all the time. It's the cameras." He goes, "I've had 2 prosecutions and convictions on cameras. One was at Fontana Lake Estates, 1 or 2 there, and I think," he said, "Larker Highlands may have a hidden one somewhere. It may be something like this." He said, not refuting what she's saying, this is a small area. He said, "We know all the criminals. We know every one of them. And if we see their truck or car come in and we get their license plate or a clear picture of them, and the rest of the people has been homeowners, it's not real hard to figure out who broke into the house. Then we get them informed." He goes, "We have our process at that point." He says, "So if we can get pictures of them, in both cases we got pictures of these people, we interviewed them, we got a confession, or we found out a way to get a conviction through gate cameras." He said, "That is your most important piece of security." Now I agree, I'm not too crazy about having cameras in my house just because I have visitors and guests, and that's kind of weird. I might have one of these. I think that's a great idea to have down at on Spring Cove and maybe in my woods. But that's our first line of defense right there. And those cameras can at least put the word out, and everyone knows, criminal knows where the cameras are. And even, if we put cameras here and up in the woods, but however we do it, I think, certainly speaking for someone that's already incurred a great deal of expense from an operative security point there, I think we need to do something, and maybe several lines of defense. Maybe have these at the gate, maybe a couple around here, because if I would think that if you're breaking in the gate, first thing you do is scan, especially in the wintertime, scan the trees for something that's not natural, and that would be a camera.
Now, these things blend in pretty good.
Because the camouflage.
Today she
Yeah.
told me, it's monitoring the tomato plants because something was eating your
Yeah.
plants. And it took me a while to figure out which tree it was, and I was looking for
And
it.
to your credit, I've got tons of these all around my hunting lodge and property and hundreds of acres. But I've just got an eye for them. I can picture them anywhere, but that's probably not just anyone. But I guess, to my point, I think that something at that gate needs to let people know that if you come in here, not our house, but here, you're going to get on camera, you're going to be held responsible for entering our property that you're not supposed to be here.
Here's what I would propose, okay? I would propose we put up a neighborhood watch sign down there. We put up a video surveillance sign. We put up a phony camera, and we put up a couple of these.
So that makes them think so they're focused on the phony camera, thinking that that's the camera. These they're not looking for then, because they
That
don't
might
think
be.
through there. And these are the ones really capturing
And
the
those
images.
phony cameras are cheap. They're under $20,
Yeah.
you know.
And
And
we
they're
could put
solar
a couple of
powered.
these kind of obvious, and then put a few in the couple levels back to where they think they got these. We have some backup secondary camera posts to where if they did see those. But yeah, I think
So that would be $260 plus the phony camera, which is maybe $20, $30. They make them solar powered.
And then a couple of signs, probably $10
And a couple of signs. I've got a couple of signs in my property. I don't know if you saw them. Video surveillance. I've got 2 signs.
I
out there.
just put in a system, so I got signs.
And you got the cost of a couple of cards. Those are probably $25 a piece if you want it. Big ones, and then a little bit of
Basically,
stuff for a
each
battery
camera
supply.
is going to be, you said 120 for the camera,
What was that? Yeah.
and then about 50 for the 2 cards. So each camera is about $170, or about
You're going to be living
$180.
here full time.
Pardon me?
In a month or two, you're going to be living here full time. You've got experience with the cameras. Scott's got experience with the cameras. You guys mind maybe figuring out the cameras, what works best for the cameras?
Well, yeah, but I do think probably we should put a budget on it right now.
Okay.
And so that everybody's comfortable with what the
What we're
budget
gonna spend.
would be for that
Yeah, because
project.
a lot of the people that set the process don't want to spend the money.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're not doing a separate assessment for it.
No.
because
So
it
this
doesn't
would be
require it.
out of funds on hand.
Yeah. I mean, what kind of budget would be reasonable for this?
Well, how much did you just say?
Well,
2 cameras are basically going to run you
$260.
about
Plus the cards.
on the 2 cameras, the signs, and the phony camera are probably about $400.
I was going
I
to
say
say
we do
budget of
4
500.
cameras, 2 down. I'm sorry, Sandy.
Yeah. No, I would just say if he says 400, you can say a budget of 500 to work
Well,
with.
Scott wants to
Well, I'm thinking 2 cameras down there. Now maybe this is a funnel right here that and maybe a couple of cameras secondary.
Catch a tag.
Yeah,
I
up
think
here.
any cameras you put in, the funnel ends right after Mrs. Martinez's driveway.
Say again?
Any cameras you want to put in, the so-called funnel would end after Martinez's driveway, because then you have to take it forward to her house and you start pulling off. So I think they should be basically from where your truck, where Dr. Fisher's truck is,
Exactly.
headed down this way.
Yeah, and at
Get
the
most
gate. So
benefit.
we have 2 stages of opportunities for photos in case something was
All right, so
It also does give you a little more redundancy, so that if, say, the batteries had gone dead on one picture, or there was some problem, you have another opportunity to catch the picture.
Is there any objection if we start off with 2 and make sure it's going to work? And you get some pictures the first month, see if they work good, and we're getting the pictures we like, then we can add another 1 or 2.
And maybe
that's
send
fine with me.
a link to these cameras to all the homeowners if you'd like to get one for your own.
I can't hear with the airplane. I can't hear you.
I said maybe Paul Lori can send or we can send a link to all the homeowners on
Letting them
typical
know that this is
this
a
type
good
of
option
camera,
for their-
where if you'd like to get one for
their
your
property.
own
Right.
area.
Yeah.
An inexpensive way to monitor.
the only other consideration on this, I think, is that we task a committee to be responsible for this, and we all agree that without mutual knowledge, the SD cards will not be removed, the batteries will not be removed.
Yeah.
We don't want somebody going, oh, I want to see what's on that SD card.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right?
Nobody else.
Nobody needs to access the card unless there has been
Yes.
a problem. I mean,
And in
initially
fact,
we'll check it the
And
first
a matter of
month
fact,
or two just to
that
make
should
sure
be
we're
a
getting
part
good
of the
images.
proposal that the
Right.
SD cards not be reviewed unless that there is a crime that occurs in the community.
You know, the nice
Fair
thing
enough.
is more and more people are going to be living here year round. Tom's here year round, although he leaves. Carol Redwine's going to be here, I think, full time November 30th, because she retires in Houston, and then you guys are going to be here. So more people are here, thank goodness, right?
One of the problems that I see is if there is a problem, if there is a crime that happens, there's a couple of the homeowners out here who actually have their homes up as vacation rentals. And you're going to have a number of people in and out. I know that Fred rents his, I rent mine. Fred's is pretty well booked for the next 4 months. So, I mean, there's a lot of people going to be in and out that don't live here. And they're going to be here for short
Well, we've
periods
got
of time.
contractors and stuff too, so there is a steady stream, but at least it allows you to identify
Yeah, the only issue,
potential.
Right.
the only
But
issue
it is
would be
more-
if there's a crime, then we go through the sticks.
You gotta-
Except that, and I think we should only go through the sticks if there's been a crime or a problem.
Yeah,
That's
that's
for
it.
privacy.
Absolutely.
However, the first, say, 60 days, you want to review it, make sure it's working properly.
Right.
So you want to go through it quite a bit the first few days, make sure it's all working.
But again, this is why it's more important to do your own property. Because
Yes.
there are so
Yeah.
many other people coming
You
in.
have cameras at your house?
I have cameras.
Yeah, I think the red ones do. I think they said they do. I'm putting them in my house just because I think it's. I never realized they can't just prosecute. They have to put the person in your home, and that's the easiest way to do it. You got a picture of the guy or girl, whoever. That brought up another subject that Eileen and Robert Johns both mentioned, and the local police, Scott's right. They don't even know who the crooks are. There's one who lives right up the street from us. In fact, I think it was August. It's in the letter. When Eileen was here, she saw a guy parking the truck down by the gate. And she recognized him from Jacksonville. And she dug and searched, found out who it was. And he's just out of prison. His mother lives just up the road here. And she said he's exactly the kind of guy that would try to get in your good graces. I'll cut your grass for a real cheap price, and I'll do this real cheap, and then rip you off. So just be aware that is a modus operandi, I guess, of what some of these guys do.
You know, not be a bad idea on contractors if we run them by Rick, at least see if he's heard of them or heard something.
I'll be happy to do it on a casual. I don't want to be responsible.
Actually, you know what? Ask me, because I've gotten a lot of people up here doing all my remodeling and rebuilding, and Tony Oliver, which is
And I'll be happy to give my opinion, but I don't want anybody to think that I'm an authority and that my guy's God's gift. Because I've had a few that were good and then they just turned south on me.
and there was Kenny Gibbons.
You can't be responsible for the behavior of
So I
someone
just want to make
else.
sure,
under any
if you want my opinion,
circumstances.
I'll give it to you, but it's only worth what opinions are worth.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so-
me as well, because I know some of the liquor guys
So
around
let's say
here.
we turn this into a formal proposal encompassing all the things we've mentioned. Can you start jotting down? Okay. I'm going to make a motion that we create a, I guess, community security committee to monitor and maintain 2 trail cams, Browning trail cams, with associated SD cards, a phony video camera, and signage indicating video surveillance is underway, and that a community watch program is in place, subject to the following conditions. With the exception of an initial monitoring program to ensure the system is functional, SD cards and photos will not be reviewed unless a crime is reported to have taken place. The security committee will monitor battery life and exchange SD cards initially on a once per month basis. The budget for the project initially will be $500. And the security committee will encompass the following individuals. I take it you want to be on it, right, Scott? Okay, Scott? Are you?
No.
No? Who wants to be on it?
I suggest Lori's our tech wizard.
Yeah, Lori.
I don't want to be on it because I'm already doing enough.
I'm gonna put in Tom Hinkey's name.
That's what he gets for leaving you his proxy.
Yeah.
Before you leave, do you have the proxies with you? Because I'll need
I do
them.
have. I have his. The others I got to print out.
Okay.
But I do have his. Tom's.
We'll just need an
And I'll
official
volunteer
copy for the
for it
meeting
too.
records.
Put me on it too, so we got 4 people on it. That should be adequate.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom Hinkey. Tom Hinkey on the security committee.
Teach him.
I'm in trouble.
You done been volunteered.
You don't show up for a meeting or
We
leave
used to-
town, you're always going to get elected for something.
We used to
I
be
found that
good
out.
friends.
Also put on the end of that the fact that it's, you know, the potential after the initial program's evaluated, you know, the need for additional cameras will be
reviewed
by the
by the
committee.
committee.
Yeah. And the only other thing I didn't catch, and that fits in there, is if in the normal course of maintenance you have to look at a few pictures, I think that would be okay to do. I don't know, do you have to occasionally look at that card to make sure things are working?
You can
Yeah.
also see that there are files captured in dates. You don't necessarily have to look at the pictures.
Okay.
After
Well-
that initial period, you're going to want to look at the pictures to make sure you're getting high enough quality.
Right, the
and
initial
just-
period, but then
but-
after that, ongoing maintenance. I just
Initially, you have the lighting correct, the angle correct, so we will have to look at some pictures.
Okay.
Right. But after the initial, normally
Yeah,
you
but
can
only-
tell that
We
it's
can get 'em
functioning
for
well by
different
time and date capture of
But
footage.
I would also add, no individual will remove those SD cards for review except upon informing the rest of the committee.
And at first,
Well, I don't want to say that the committee could do it.
Pardon me?
a member of the
Only
committee.
the
should-
member of a committee can remove them. No one
all right.
else should go.
Fine.
If it's agreeable, if she's the computer with, unless everyone else wants to do it. We're going to be living here. Why don't we have Lori for it the first month? Scott will be up there a lot. You guys can get together, look at the pictures together, whatever.
Right.
and make
Yeah,
sure
I
it's-
won't ever pull a card unless I've talked to you, and then I won't do it. I'll have, maybe if I have a reason, if
Okay, can we
someone
have
has an
that in
issue,
there?
I
I'm
will have
working on
one of
that
y'all
right
do it.
Okay.
And then,
So
then
basically, the parameters are that the SD cards can only be pulled by the committee members and only upon consent of the entire committee, or at least informing.
Email
or,
informing.
Informing
or
the entire
request by
community.
law enforcement.
Right.
Exactly.
law
Yeah,
enforcement.
right.
I mean, that goes without
Yes.
saying. I mean,
Did you want to say something, Nancy?
I just wanted to ask her how long the batteries usually last in that.
About 10,000 pictures, depending on the setting, on how high a resolution. And we probably won't have to keep it at the highest resolution. You know, we can bring it down to, and so they'll easily last a month. I mean, I leave it up
Okay,
here
that's
for.
what
How many
Okay.
pictures that it captures?
Yeah, it's
Show one or two pictures that it captures, so they have an idea what kind of quality you're talking.
The only issue with these cameras we have to be aware of, which is not concerning anybody who cares, but the infrared,
I know.
it makes sure that it's not in the line of direct sunlight throughout the day, because that will destroy the infrared component. I know that from experience.
okay.
So we just have to make sure that we keep,
In
because
this
the shelf life of
environment,
those
indirect
cameras,
lighting is pretty common.
those shelf life of those cameras 2 to 3 years, and then they'll start to get, the lens will fade and the plastic will crack, and yeah, you get 2 or 3 good years out of them.
Now, what distance, in your experience, do you put them across the street?